Hello friends, welcome to the channel IT Simplified. In today's session, I'm here to discuss and show you how to choose the right load balancing option within Microsoft Azure. So let's get started. Now before I show you how to choose the right load balancer from the Azure portal, let's try to understand what load balancing does for you and what problem we are trying to solve. A load balancer will allow you to distribute your traffic across multiple workloads in the backend. In Azure, it is part of the networking component and it is broadly categorized into two. You have regional and you have global load balancer, and then you have load balancer which supports HTTPS and non-HTTPS traffic. So let's start with the first one, global and regional load balancer. Let's say you have a web application which is deployed across multiple regions. You have a web application in Canada Central region of Azure, and then you have also web application within Central India region. Now, if you want to distribute or load balance the traffic between these two regions, you'll need to have a global load balancer. Not only that, if you have a scenario in which you have a hybrid deployment in which you have on-prem application and you want to load balancing this with a web application in the cloud, you can also use a global load balancer. Now this was one option. What happens if you have your web application deployed in one region within the virtual network of, say, Canada Central region? That is where a regional load balancer will come into play. One example of a regional load balancer can be application gateway. Now let's try to compare that with HTTPS and non-HTTPS load balancer. Starting with HTTPS load balancer, they work on the layer 7 of the application or of the OSI model. It means that they work at the application layer. These also have features such as SSL offload, path-based load balancing, and session affinity, along with the web application firewall. These are typically meant for applications which are web-facing. Example of HTTPS load balancer in Azure is a front door. Then you also have non-HTTPS load balancer, and these are typically used for applications which are not web-facing. Example of this one will be standard load balancer, and these works at the layer 4. It means they work the transport layer of OSI model. So these are the two categories under which Azure Load Balancer can be categorized into. Now let me flip over to the Azure portal to show you where you can choose the service from the Azure portal. From the Azure portal, let's search for load balancing option. And here you see load balancing, help me choose. So let me go and pick this. And you have three tabs, help me choose, service, comparison, and you also have tutorial. Let's look at the service comparison. So the things which I've explained you, it's all categorized into this. So you have four options: application gateway, front door, load balancer, and traffic manager. And if you want to watch a video, you can also go through and learn about this. But let me go and pick the help me choose tab. And here I can answer some common questions to choose which will be the right one for me. So let's see, does your application use HTTPS/HTTPS traffic? So if I say no, I have two options left from four. I have the load balancer and I have the traffic manager. Now what is saying, is your application public? So let me say yes here. And I can use both load balancer as well as traffic manager because both of them can be used for web applications. Typically we will use traffic manager for this, but both of them supports load balancer as well as traffic manager supports web facing application. Now the third question is that will be deployed across multiple regions. As I've explained you, Azure is distributed across multiple regions depending upon what geography you want to deploy your applications in. So let's say I want to deploy this in multiple regions. So I'm going to pick yes. And here it's saying that my first option will be traffic manager, but also want to point out that you can deploy these solution in combination. So as you know that traffic manager is a DNS based load balancer and it can be deployed across multiple regions. But you can use Traffic Manager in conjunction with Load Balancer, and you can deploy this solution. So by choosing specific answers for what your needs are, this gives you an option of what will be the right solution for you. Let me just go and start over. And now I'm going to pick, yes, I want to have HTTP and HTTPS application-based load balancer. And is your application public facing? Yes. And will be deployed in multiple regions. I'm going to pick yes again. Now, do you want performance acceleration? So I'm going to pick yes at this time. And you can see that I have application gateway as well as front door option. Now, there's also one more question. Do you want to have SSL offloading or application layer processing per request? Let's say I want to pick yes. Now, picking up all these answers to the question which were there, is saying that I can use combination of front door as well as application layer. As I've explained you, both front door as well as application gateway, they are layer 7 load balancer, but front door is a global load balancer, and it also supports site acceleration too. So if I have those needs, I'll pick front door, and I can also use this in conjunction with application gateway. So by just answering some typical questions, this gives me an idea about what will be the right load balancer for me. Hopefully this was useful. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.